Today's video is sponsored by Reolink. Hey guys, I'm Evan. Welcome to Country View Acres. So today I got out one of my new excavator attachments. In fact, I've had this for probably 2-3 months now. I got it shortly after I got the excavator and I just haven't had time to mess with it. But this is a brush mulcher. So this is the Bomalite MX330 and it's like it's kind of in between a flail mower and a forestry mulcher. So it does have like fixed teeth. You can see them right there. These are carbide teeth, so they will cut through wood. It's just not made to go through real big trees, you know, like 1.5 inches and smaller. Mostly just brush and grass, so it's a little bit better than a flail mower. And I'm planning on using this to be able to mow my pond dam, to be able to mow ditches where I can't get a mower into, and probably to mow around the pond edge as well. And I'm sure I can come up with a lot of other places to use this. I think it's going to be real handy. So full disclosure, I did reach out to Bomalite. I know they make really good equipment and they're really great to work with as well. And I asked them, you know, I told them I had a 5-ton excavator, 5.5-ton excavator, and asked them if there's anything that they were looking to showcase on YouTube. And they asked me what I was interested in. I told them I'd like to have something to be able to mow and cut brush with. And this is what we ended up with, was this MX330. And you can buy it just like this, and then you buy a different bracket for whatever your excavator is. So this is the correct bracket for my excavator, but it can be easily changed to a Bobcat or some other, you know, a Caterpillar or whatever excavator you have. Now when they send it to you, they don't send the hydraulic hoses. You gotta get those made or make them yourself so that they match the length for your excavator. So what I need to do is I need to hook it up, get the excavator over here, hook up. We'll take some measurements and figure out how big of hoses we actually need. Oh, you're kidding me. Well, the pin for the quick attach is not going in. It seems like there's a nub right here. Like it's not quite round in that spot. I think a little grinder would take care of that. These carbide burr bits, man, these things work really well. Look at that. The other side's doing the same thing. I can actually see it right here. There's a line that didn't get cut. Ought to fit now. Yep. That ain't good. So the quick coupler is not closing all the way, so the hole in the quick coupler is not mating up with the hole in the attachment. So I'm just still taking the burr bit, just going to clean off right here where it seems to be hitting, and hopefully I can get this to seat. It just needs a little bit. Hopefully you can see where it's shiny. I just took a little bit off of this edge right here on both sides. Looks a lot better. Look at that, right in. So the hose connections are right here, but the way the hoses are supposed to route, they're supposed to go back down through under this cover. They're supposed to come out this side and then go up to the connection up here, which I think might be a little bit tricky. So from here to there, we're like 31 inches. And then from here to there, we're around 43 inches. So 6 foot 2 inches is what I need for hoses. So now that I've got the hose length, I think I can go to town and I can see if I can have some custom hoses made. I could try to piece one together, you know, buying some fittings and hoses at the farm store, but I think over here I'm gonna need some 90-degree fittings over there to be able to come out of those and turn them quickly so that I can come forward with the hoses. I don't know if I'll find those adapters, so it's probably best to just go to a custom shop. So like I said earlier, today's video is sponsored by Reolink. I've owned Reolink cameras for several years now. One of my newest cameras is the TrackMix LTE. And since this is a wireless camera, it can be mounted anywhere that there is cell service. And with the included solar panel, it'll always stay charged. So I've got the camera mounted here so that I can monitor wildlife on the property. And when it detects motion, the camera will move and track whatever it is. And with smart detection, it can tell whether it is a human, an animal, or a vehicle. And with real-time alerts to my device, when I get notified, I can quickly open up the Reolink app and then I can watch the wildlife in real time. The TrackMix LTE is a dual lens camera. One lens is a wide angle view and the other lens is a zoom lens, and it'll zoom in on whatever it's tracking. The TrackMix LTE would be a great choice for a trail cam or a security camera. Another camera I have is the Reolink Floodlight Elite Wi-Fi camera. You can replace any existing 120 volt motion activated light for added security. I have mine mounted right up here on the barn. I store a lot of equipment up here and I want to know immediately if somebody is trespassing or if somebody's trying to steal something. The Floodlight Elite is also a dual lens camera, except one lens looks slightly to the right, one lens looks slightly to the left, and it gives you a total of 180 degrees of view. So there's no blind spots. That camera can see everything on this side of the barn. And at night, the dual floodlights illuminate up to 40 feet away, so it lights up this entire area. And the Floodlight Elite has an AI video search. So you could search, say, black vehicle. It'll bring up all the footage of a black vehicle, helping you find the correct footage faster. So don't miss out on Reolink's biggest Black Friday deals of the year. Experience their innovative AI technology and premium quality at unbeatable prices. Click my link below to explore all their unbeatable discounts. All right, just got back from the hydraulic shop. Had to make me 2 hoses with these 90-degree fittings on the end. And this was a total of $222 for these 2 hoses. And the next thing to do is I need to put the flat face hydraulic couplers on the end of each one of those hoses, and then that will, I think those cost me $50, $60 a piece. So this whole setup here is going to end up being around $330, $350 to be able to get this hooked up. So there's a hole right here to route the hose through. Run it underneath. can see there's hydraulic fluid in here. They've obviously ran it and tested this. Switch my diverter valve, and you can see my hose is still plenty long enough. All right. So now I think we're ready to go ahead and test out the brush mulcher, and this attachment does require quite a bit of hydraulic flow to keep it spinning really fast to be able to cut the trees and the grass. So I need to make a change on the excavator. Actually, I probably need to change a couple things. So on the side here, here's your hydraulic manifold, and right here, if I switch this valve, if I understand this correctly, that is going to allow the flow from the mower to go directly back into the tank, and it won't have to go back through a valve, and that basically means it won't be restricted on the return side. So it'll have pressure going in, the opposite side straight to tank, should make it run a lot better. And then the other thing I'm going to have to do is you can adjust the hydraulic flow inside the little computer in there. So I'm going to have to play around and adjust the hydraulic flow to make it so that it's the right speed, you know, to run the mower. So I don't want to go too much, but you definitely don't want to go too slow. That is about 3/4 flow. Oh, I'm not even revved up. Sound good. Well, I've got the flow rate on the excavator set to about 75% for this, and it seems to be spinning just fine. But when it would slow down, man, it would make kind of a weird noise. And I ended up turning the valve back to its original position, and now when it slows down, it sounds normal. So I think I'm going to run it in that condition. My understanding is turning that valve turns your return line into a case drain, and apparently this brush mulcher doesn't require a case drain, so I didn't necessarily need to do that. I thought it would help it out, but it seems to run better or sounds better when I run it in like the normal running condition. So we're going to run it that way. We're going to head over to the pond dam, and we're going to see if we can get it all mowed. I'm not sure if this will reach far enough to get all the way from the top of the dam down to the shoreline, but we should be able to get at least like 75% of the dam, I would think. Well, I was able to reach all the way down to the pond edge, and it mowed fairly decent. There was just a few things that stuck out over the water, like this tree right here and a few other bushes and stuff that I couldn't, you know, reach because it's hanging way out there. And then you can see some other stuff just kind of hanging out, but the majority of it, 99% of it is clear. And I am so happy. I hated weed eating this thing because you're like trying to weed eat uphill. You can't mow it. It's too steep to mow. And you're on an angle. So like the whole time, like your hip's really sore, your back's really sore. It takes a couple hours of weed eating. And I'd say that I was able to do this, you know, quicker than I could have weed eat it. And it's way easier. It's like a dream, that's for sure. So yeah, this is the way I'm gonna mow the pond dam every time from now on out. This worked out pretty good. I'm curious if I can reach out there farther if I turn the excavator, put the dozer blade, you know, out here kind of over the hill and brace myself with it, and maybe I can reach out here and get this tree and a few other things. So I'm gonna try that real quick. Well, I was able to get that tree mulched up, but I wasn't able to do it from the top of the dam. It actually seemed to have less reach from the front. I was doing better from the side earlier, so I had to come up over the side of the dam a few feet to be able to reach it. But I don't think I'd want to come out much farther than that. So I think the Bomb Light Brush Mulcher did a great job, but I will say this is very heavy, and you could tell it when you're running the excavator. This is 750 pounds, and that's just probably the brush mulcher. And then you've got this big Kubota adapter, which is one of the bigger adapters that you would have on here. So this is probably like 800 pounds plus. And when I was reaching all the way out, full extension from the side, the excavator was getting bouncy. That you could tell that rear track was wanting to kind of lift a little bit. It never tipped over, but it was making it kind of hard to mow with it wanting to kind of rock like that. So this is probably about, you know, 750, 800 pounds. That's probably the maximum that I want to lift out there from the side. But to give you a little perspective, this is a 5.5 metric ton excavator. So it's around 11,500 pounds. And it's a zero, what do they call it? It's like a zero tail swing or minimum tail swing. So all the weight is real close. It doesn't really stick out past the tracks. So that way you can work in a tight area. But that also makes it a little more tippy. If you had the weight hanging out there, you wouldn't probably tip as bad. So yeah, this is probably like the biggest implement that I probably want to run on this machine, but definitely I'm very, very happy with this. And I think this is something I'm actually going to use like a lot. Like I got so many ditches and so many places that I can't get a mower, and I really don't want to weed eat. I kind of hate weed eating, and this will work fantastic. This has got about a 30-inch, I think this is like a 30-inch cut area here. And then overall, I think it's around 38, I think, somewhere in there, 38, 40 inches wide. I should be able to fit it in a lot of spots to be able to mow things down. We probably got less than an hour of daylight left, so I probably need to jump in side by side. I need to do a few chores this evening before I quit. So I need to move the cattle and the sheep to the other side of the pasture, and they're all out there grazing right now. But I bet you if I end up messing with some feed drums, make a little bit of noise, they'll probably come running because they'll think they're getting fed. It's probably a bad trick to play on them, but I think it'll work. I think they're getting used to not being fed because they didn't come running when I made some noise. Oh, but Ellie's looking at me. She's used to getting fed every day. And I did milk her this morning by myself. First time milking alone. Everything went smooth. And that was our 4th day milking. Everything's gone well. Yeah, so they've been grazing this side over here for like 2 weeks now. And then this side over here has been resting for 2 weeks. So it's definitely grown back. Looks a lot better. Here's Oliver the bull. He's starting to fill out. Fist bump. Yeah. Yep. He's getting bigger. Yeah, out here where they're grazing, you can tell it looks mowed down pretty good. And then where I'm gonna move them is not perfect, but it's got more grass than they got now. All right, I got the fence charger off. We'll go move it, see if I can get them to the other side. You guys coming to see what I'm doing? You're going the wrong way. We gotta head back. Come on, Maya. Come on. Can you guys let me through? Okay. Move, cow. Come on. Move, cow. Here she comes. Look at her, just running. She's gonna run me over. Oh, you're getting excited. Maya, don't get too close, sweetheart. She likes to push me with her head. We going on a walk together? Yeah? Move, cow. Come on. Come on over. There you go. Get going. And there goes the flirt. Yeah, they'll be happy on new grass. All right, that's a fairly easy move because I just take the fence reels from this side of the gate and move them over to that side, and I don't actually have to move the fence. Just like 2 posts in the reels, and then they flip sides. So I like it when it's easy like that. Well, you can tell this pasture hasn't fully recovered. 2 weeks just ain't long enough, but you can see the blade of the grass is still flat on top where it was bit off. It hadn't grown the point back yet. Well, we still got some light left. I thought I'd show you this new pasture that we planted. So look at it now. It's filling in pretty good. I still see some little stripes here and there where it was rough. You can still see a little bit of dirt, but yeah, it's all filling in pretty good. It's starting to get a little bit of height to it. So my $1,000 worth of seed did not go to waste. That's good. So the reason I plant in the fall, and I've probably explained this several times, but it gives the grass a good start. So it will get established. It'll get about 4 inches tall or so. And then next spring, when it gets warm enough, it'll just take off and it'll get growing, it'll get established before any of the summer weeds. So then the weed competition is way less. And your pasture just ends up being, in my opinion, it just ends up being better quality, less weeds. I mean, that's just the way it is. That's the reason I do it. Well, you won't be able to see it, but right along the fence right there, there's 3 deer, like 3 smaller does or fawns over there. Yeah, those 3 deer, I think they're here like every day. We normally see them right there in the driveway. We see them in the morning. We always see them in the evening, kind of right in that location, and then over here in the chestnut trees all the time. So right here where I filled this first mud hole in, I put the topsoil in there, tried to mix it with the mud and pack it down. It's holding up. It's probably, you can probably tell when you look at it, it's probably sunk like 1 inch. They've tracked it up a little bit, but it seems to be holding up. Just 1 egg. They're hiding them somewhere. Hi, Scooter. How you guys doing on cat food? We'll get you a little more. Check our Redmond salt. That is not Redmond salt, that's baking soda. That's Redmond salt. We're good. So yesterday was the time change. We moved our clocks back an hour for daylight savings time. It's something we do here in the United States. I think we're the only ones that do it. But that means that instead of it getting dark at 6 in the evening, it's now getting dark at 5 in the evening. It's 5:15 right now. The sun is down. It'll be dark in a half an hour. And that just means it's quitting time. Or at least there's no more daylight for quitting time. You know, you can't get much done outside when it's dark. But the last couple weeks, I've really could tell a change. Everything really cooled down, started to feel like fall. Of course, we got all the fall colors right now, so it started to really, I could feel the seasons changing. And now with the time change, I feel like winter is coming. Like it'll be here before you know it, and then that makes you feel like it's like a mental, like you're behind. You know, like there's a rush to get things done before winter. And I've got some livestock projects that I need to do. I need to work on some shelter for them. There's not enough shelter space really for all the livestock where they're at right now. and I need to work on that and some feed troughs before wintertime. So that is one thing that will take priority. Livestock always got to take priority, keeping them, you know, healthy and sheltered. So probably end up working on that stuff next. The firewood equipment shed will have to end up waiting for a little bit. I've got the fence line hay feeder that we're going to use. I need to build a new one for this winter, so there's another project right there. So those will take precedence over the equipment firewood shed. So that'll probably be what we'll be shifting to here next. So I know some people will be disappointed not working on the equipment shed, including myself. I would love to have that done. But I just need to focus on these other things because mud season is coming, and I just want everything to go as smoothly as possible, you know, especially with all the livestock and everything. I want them to be dry and be able to stay warm. So that's what we're gonna do. But I think that's gonna wrap up this video. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.